Hello, this is Heather with Creativity by Heather BE. Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. So today I am kicking off my 12 days of cards for the holidays. And for day one, I am going to be using a Simon Says Stamp Ho 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 stencil. I picked this up during their Black Friday sale and I have become obsessed with stencils. There's so many things you can do with them. They're so inexpensive, and this one I just thought was so fun and I couldn't wait to play with it. So what I'm going to do is I am actually going to be doing some foiling. But before we get to the foiling, I am using a piece of Bristol Smooth cardstock and I'm going to cover that with the Distress Oxide pine needles. So I decided I wanted to do some of the traditional red and green, but I'm also going to throw in a little bit of silver when I foil this. So I'm going in and just laying down my Distress Oxide, and if you haven't used the Oxides, they blend really smooth and great, especially on the Bristol Smooth paper, which is why I'm using that one. So I am taping this down with some painter's tape. Typically I would use the ThermoWeb purple tape, but I am out of it and waiting for more to come, so I'm using the painter's tape, and either one works fine. So I'm going to lay my stencil down and I'm going to tape the stencil in place really, really well. I want to make sure that my stencil is not going to shift because I'm going to put some Deco foil transfer gel over this stencil, and I'm going to use a palette knife to do that. So what this gel is going to do, if you're not familiar with it, is you can put it through any stencil, and once it dries, you will be able to add foil using some type of heat, so typically a laminator, and it's going to allow you to basically foil your stencils. It is so awesome. You get 4 ounces in the container, and as always, I'll have all the products listed below, and I love this stuff. There, you can turn any stencil into a beautiful foiled project, which is what I'm going to do with this one. So I'm going to pick up my stencil very carefully. Now I will tell you, you'll see I cleaned off my palette knife. As soon as you get done using this, clean your stencil, and I just put it in some soapy water and it cleans fine. So it does take some time to dry, and when it dries you'll notice that it was clear, and once it's dry you're good. I did leave it overnight. So I am going to be using 2 Gina K fancy foils. I'm using Radiant Red and Sparkling Silver. And one of the things I love about foiling is that you can layer the pieces and it's only going to foil the one that's closest to the transfer gel. So I'm going to lay the silver one down first, and once I get it placed and make sure it's only over the center hoe, the top and the bottom one, I can just lay the Radiant Red pieces right on top of it, and it's not going to foil that center one. Another trick that I found with my foil is when you get the foils, I always open them from the top, and you'll see here I'm pulling the red out this way because when you open it from the bottom, my foil would stick to the stickiness that closed up the packaging. So I found if I just cut the top off, then I can slide it up, lift the flap, and then get what I need, and I don't have to worry about my foil sticking to that stickiness from the packaging. So I'm going to lay my top piece down, and you'll see I'm going to move it here and overlap it, and it is not going to foil that middle one in red. It's only going to do it in silver because that's what's on the bottom. So I'm going to run this through the laminator, and this is a very old laminator that I have had for a really, really long time, probably 15 years, I think. There are a lot of great laminators out on the market now, and I'll link to some of them down below. I don't even know if Staples still sells this one, but it has worked like a champ. So I am going to watch the magic happen now. This is one of my favorite things about foiling. It's like heat embossing, you know, the big reveal. So there you can see we've got the red and our sparkling silver. This card was so simple to put together. It did take some time just in drying time for the transfer gel, but very simple. You could sit down and put the transfer gel on a bunch of panels, let them dry overnight, and then just foil them all the next day, and it really does not take long. So I decided to cut my panel down a little bit, just on the sides, and I am going to use a piece of fun foam. I really need to restock on my supplies. I also am almost out of fun foam, which is why I'm using that lovely yellow color. And I'm going to adhere that to a piece of Brutus Monroe glitter cardstock, and this is the color Scarlet. I thought it would really set off the red in from the foil. And then I'm going to go in and I'm going to add some flat back pearls. And this was from an inspiration kit through Brutus Monroe, and it had a really pretty red and just pearl colored flat back pearls, so I decided to go ahead and add those. And I'm going to just randomly place them around just to give the card a little bit more. You could leave these off and just have the sentiment, the ho ho ho, as the main focus. You could also do like a fishtail or some type of sentiment and add like to the bottom or somewhere that says Merry Christmas. You could do all kinds of things with this card. Once you get it foiled, you can add whatever you want. So I am using my jewel picker and just adding those, and that's the final card. So simple, and I will definitely be making more of these to send out for Christmas. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to come back for day 2, and where I will have other products that I'm showcasing, and I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you so much.